Well, Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Ed Markey introduced their Green New Deal at a press conference today. The legislation calls for a 10-year plan to reach 100% clean, renewable, and zero-emission energy. It also includes a federal jobs guarantee and universal health care. The proposal itself does not create any of these new programs, but some 2020 potential Democratic candidates came out to support the Green New Deal, including Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley. Of all the candidates are facing pressure from climate change activists. Joining me now, CBSN political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns. So, Caitlin, who are some of the 2020 candidates who really are supporting this?
Well, you mentioned Jeff Merkley. He was on our air last night on Red and Blue talking about this plan. He's also thinking about running for president, but there are also candidates already in the race who are not only endorsing this plan, but are also now co-sponsoring it, which kind of shows how important this is going to be in the presidential primary, and it's kind of emerging as a litmus test. So you have Elizabeth Warren signing on, Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, all senators, and they are trying to get in on this legislation because environmental issues, climate change are going to be front and center in this Democratic primary. And also they kind of see it as a way to talk about a broad range of issues, especially on jobs, on social justice, on infrastructure, and on health care.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I want to play a little bit of what she had to say about all of this.
The solution is not going to come from just one congresswoman from the Bronx. It's not going to come just from one senator. It's going to come from all of our representatives as a country saying this is what Iowa needs, this is what Virginia needs, this is what Michigan needs, this is what Illinois needs, and this is what New York needs. Because when we have this threat that challenges all of us, the solution is going to take all of us too.
You know, she's viewed as someone very progressive. I'm curious, are other Democrats backing her on this?
Yes, they are. And what's really interesting is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we know a lot about her. She's not able to run for president because she's not old enough, but she's already having a real impact, at least from a policy perspective, on this race. So I mentioned those 2020 candidates who are endorsing her, and this is also a very popular framework, we should call it, for progressives or for more liberal members of the party. But it does kind of put more moderate members in a bind, and a lot of those members who won election in swing states or states that Trump won or districts Trump won in 2018 aren't really going to be on board with this, at least not yet. And it's really interesting to think about, too, the way that Nancy Pelosi is trying to walk this line. She's been through these big, comprehensive climate change proposals before, just a decade ago with the failure of cap and trade as an example. So she wants to take a much more practical approach to this. And the proponents of this bill are saying, look, we know the policy needs to be ironed out. This is just a framework, kind of a roadmap, but it really shows you where the intensity within the Democratic base is at this point.
And you mentioned Nancy Pelosi, and my understanding is today she announced a special select committee to look into climate change. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wasn't on that. Was that a diss? What was that
Not on that list. And she said today at her press conference that she hadn't looked at this proposal yet, but
the
Green New Deal. But she says she welcomes all proposals that kind of address climate change because this is still a big issue for her. But again, it kind of speaks to the way in which she knows that this is, at this point, kind of a pie-in-the-sky proposal. It's already being denigrated by Republicans and outside groups.
What makes it pie in the sky, Caitlin?
Well, first of all, it's just a resolution, so it's not actual legislation to be voted on yet. And also, it includes a wide variety of things. It's very wide-ranging. So it includes, trying to get emissions down by a certain date very quickly, but it also involves universal health care. It involves rebuilding all the buildings in the United States. And something that Republicans have harped on is that it wants to increase high-speed rail, or get that up to speed, I should say, and eliminating the need for air travel. So that's something that they're going after on this. But Democrats say, look, this is just a way for us to show we got this power in Washington now. We want to use it and want to put these issues that we care about at least on the front of the agenda.
Certainly something to watch to see exactly how this shakes out. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.